Mangwana ni Mwalelepo Vukenjani Klekwas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Mbedi. Now, these are some of the stories that we are looking at today. 25 undocumented foreign nationals have been nabbed for illegal mining in South Africa. Tanzania arrests opposition leaders to thwart protests, and Egyptian ship delivers weapons to Somalia. Follow all our programs on oneup2.com, DSTV 285 and GoTV 25 in Namibia, as well as Network Media Hub on YouTube. We'll also talk to Mike Sichula as he crosses over from Zambia, bringing us the latest news stories from there. My name is Ashwin Mbedi. Top stories shortly.
Entries are now open for the second round of Republicane's Bridal Couple of the Year competition. Couples married between 1 June and 31 August have until 30 September of this year to enter the second round of the competition. Another one of the top 10 couples will be chosen from this pool to participate in the final, taking place in May 2025. To better your chance of reaching the final, enter now. To enter, simply WhatsApp #bridal2025 to 085 785 6231 and follow the on-screen instructions or scan this QR code.
All right, we start our top stories in South Africa, where 13 illegal foreign nationals are set to appear before the Brits Magistrates Court in the northwest. Now, the suspects were arrested during the Fala Umgodi operation last week on 19 and 20 September in Potchefstroom. According to the Colonel Adel Meiber, the South African Police Service spokesperson in Northwest, all 13 suspects were nabbed for contravention of Section 491A of the Immigration Act, number 13 of 2002 in Monoi. In another incident, police were allegedly called to a local mine shaft on 19 September after mine security reported that they apprehended illegal miners on level 10 at the Stiffontein gold mine. Now, 6 illegal miners were found, and on searching the suspects, 7 pieces of amalgam gold were found hidden in the dreadlocks of one of the suspects, and this was according to Meiber. Moving on to our next story, Tanzanian police arrested 3 opposition leaders again, and this was this week. Their party and police said to stop anti-government protests in the commercial capital Dar es Salaam. The main opposition party, Chadema's chairperson Freeman Mbowe, was detained on the street while his deputy Tundu Lissu was taken from his home amid plans to demonstrate against alleged killings and abductions of government critics. Chadema said later on Monday that police arrested another senior official and an unspecified number of party member staff and guards at 2 of their offices in Dar es Salaam. Police also took into custody 3 journalists covering the protests, according to their employers, Mwananchi Communications Limited and East Africa TV. One of its journalists was later released. That was according to Mwananchi. Now, an Egyptian ship has delivered a significant consignment of military equipment to Somalia, security officials in the capital Mogadishu are quoted as saying. Somali Defense Minister Abdul Qadir Mohammed Nur thanked Egypt in a social media post without specifically mentioning the weapons. This is the second such delivery from Egypt in a month as relations deteriorate between Somalia and its neighbor and one-time close ally Ethiopia. Egypt, a long-time rival of Ethiopia, has taken the opportunity to move closer to Somalia, stoking concerns about rising tensions in the Horn of Africa. The military cargo carried on a warship that arrived on Sunday included anti-aircraft guns and artillery. The Reuters news agency reports citing security and port officials. A BBC reporter in Mogadishu himself saw weapons being transported through the streets of the city. In his post on X, Mr. Nur is pictured with his back to the camera, looking at a docked naval vessel. Now, in our next story, the UN General Assembly has approved a blueprint to bring the world's increasingly divided nations together to tackle 21st century challenges. Those range from climate change and artificial intelligence to escalating conflicts and increasing inequality and poverty. Now, the 42-page Pact for the Future challenges leaders of the 193 UN member nations to turn promises into real action and make a difference in the lives of the world of more than 8 billion people. Now, the pact was adopted at the opening of the two-day Summit of the Future, called by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. He said the group was gathered to, as he put it, bring multilateralism back to the brink. It includes 56 nations on issues including eradicating poverty, mitigating climate change, achieving gender equality, promoting peace and protecting civilians, and reinvigorating the multilateral system to seize the opportunities of today and tomorrow. Moving on to our next story, a source told Lusa on Monday that Mozambique's National Medicines Regulatory Authority has seized more than 50 million pharmaceutical products and closed down 2 companies that import medicines in 1 year. Among the products seized are medicines, supplements, and other medical devices, said Cassiano Joao, spokesperson for ANAMRE, adding that the seizures took place between the last half of last year and the first half of this year. He said most of the products seized were sold in unauthorized places, including markets and commercial establishments, while others were poorly preserved and illegal to circulate in the country. There are cases of products being imported illegally without ANARME's knowledge, said the spokesman, noting that at least 2 import companies have been closed down due to recurring offenses. We have repeatedly taken administrative measures to discourage the practice, but some have been recurrent. When there is a recurrence of these illegal acts, the law tells us to close down, to cancel the license, explained Cassiano Joao. The allegations of embezzlement of medicines and materials come at a time when the Mozambican national health system is facing several moments of pressure. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. After the break, I talk to Mike Sichula as he brings us the latest news stories from Zambia. Stay with us.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
All right, it's time for me to talk to Mike Sichula in Zambia for the latest stories from there. Mike, Udwanji.
Nire bueno, Moribwanji, Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Africa, good morning indeed. Mike, let's get straight into your first story. The opposition PF has questioned why Vice President Mutale Nalomango has not represented President Hakainde Hichilema at the United Nations General Assembly in New York.
Wow, this is the second time President Hakainde Hichilema has skipped the United Nations General Assembly, and instead he has delegated Mulambe Haimbe, the Foreign Affairs Minister, to lead the Zambian delegation to the Global Summit of 193 countries. So the opposition PF, through their spokesperson, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, is alleging that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is missing this year's General Assembly because of a recently released red flag against Zambia's deteriorating records on human rights abuses and ever-shrinking democratic space. Because in Zambia, the office of the Vice President is an elected office. So in the event where President Hakainde Hichilema is not going, the immediate person to represent him is the Vice President. But for 2 occasions, foreign affairs ministers have represented him, and this has raised concern amongst the opposition, who are saying that maybe President Hakainde Hichilema is sidelining the vice president, who is also an elected member of government, because Zambia, if you are going to go for an election, you need to have a running mate, and the vice president is a running mate. So when you are elected, also the vice president is elected, and it is expected that during such forums, the vice president should be second before any foreign affairs minister can represent the government. So to this matter, the government has not responded as to whether that is the case or not.
All right, we'll certainly be looking forward to an update. Now, an agricultural research body has developed armyworm-tolerant maize varieties. Tell us more.
Yeah, so this development has been developed by the Zambia Agriculture Research Institute, which has developed the armyworm-tolerant maize varieties as part of the efforts to curb the pests, which have ravaged crops in the last three farming seasons. So the maize varieties are expected to be used in the 2025 to 2026 farming season. So according to Zari, Acting Principal Agriculture Research Officer Rubasi Sininda, says the varieties have just been licensed and farmers will access them, and they are hoping that the varieties will help reduce the cost of distributing chemicals to farmers whenever the armyworms invade their crops. Remember, Zambia's staple food is maize, and whenever there is an attack on maize, it compromises food security.
All right, a good development indeed, particularly with the issues Zambia had with maize earlier in the year. Now, 9 students will represent Zambia at the 2024 First Global Robotics Challenge in Athens, Greece. Tell us more.
Wow, this is something that rarely happens, considering that Team Zambia's robotics mentor, Peter Lungu, says the purpose of the competition is to create scientists and change makers that will address various challenges the world is facing in meeting human needs. And team captain Tenesi Chilondela says this year's competition is focusing on finding solutions for the food, water, and energy crisis in the world. So the competition will provide different countries from around the world an opportunity to create an alliance and solve the world's different challenges. So the team there in the picture is expected to leave the country for Greece, as the competition will run from 26th to 29th of October 2024. This is something that a number of Zambians are excited, because Zambian students are being exposed to global events.
Yes, indeed, Mike, and we certainly wish them all the best. Now, in a related development, Maya Mwanawasa has become the first Zambian to participate in 6 major marathons. Tell us more.
So it is something that over the years, Zambians have been joining various fitness clubs so that they just keep fit. And one of them is Maya Mwanawasa. So she took part in the following marathons: the Tokyo Marathon, Boston Marathon, London Marathon, Berlin Marathon, Chicago Marathon, and the New York Marathon. And the Zambia National Olympics Committee of Zambia posted on their official Facebook page that as Zambia turns 60 next month, trending women like Maya have a special place in the history of the land of work and joy and end of quote. So it is also one of those bright stories that Zambians are making globally, for her to just participate in 6 major marathons on an individual capacity using her own finances.
Truly, truly incredible. Now, staying with incredible Zambian talent, the biggest music artist in Zambia, Your Maps, who recently released a song with American star Omarion. I believe this is ahead of the Stanbic Festival, but it's a lovely song called Superman. Your Maps has just arrived in Namibia. That was last night. That video that you just saw, he arrived in Namibia for 2 performances. One on Friday, that's going to be in Windhoek at Temperature Lounge. And then on Saturday in Walvisbay, he did have some issues with Home Affairs authorities, immigration authorities the last time he was here. But Your Maps is back. Talk to us, Mike.
Wow, this is great for him to finally be back in Namibia without any controversy. So for me, this is a comeback event to Namibia to showcase his talent and also his skills to fans in Namibia, considering that Yomaps presently is one of Zambia's biggest artists. Like you've just mentioned, he recently released
Yes, indeed, a truly generational talent, your maps, and a generational journalist, Mike Sichula, bringing us the new stories.
Supporting the arts in Namibia.
Yes, indeed, Mike. Sorry, we lost the last bit of what you had said over there, but I was just grateful your maps was here and grateful you brought us the new stories from Zambia.
Thank you very much. And I truly hope that the people of Namibia will enjoy the two performances Yomaps is putting up so that they forget about what happened last time he was there. And they truly have a performance that is they're going to remember. Thank you very much. Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Africa, good morning indeed. And by the way, that Your Maps report was contributed by Mike from Namibian Sign. All right, stay with us. We head into the weather, economics shortly. All right, let's get into the economic news stories. As Africa faces growing costs from climate change, climate finance is crucial for mitigating and adapting to those costs and ensuring its development path is consistent with limiting global warming. African negotiators have been urged to use COP29 in Azerbaijan to secure equitable climate finance for their continent. A new finance goal beyond 2025 is expected to be agreed upon by at least 200 countries, but deep divisions remain over how much should be paid and who should pay. Climate justice movements and Greenpeace Africa have now presented their document to the African group of negotiators calling for ambitious, needs-based climate finance. Now moving over to our other economic news story, Canadian miner First Quantum Minerals FMTO said on Monday it has temporarily suspended operations in the area of a fatal accident at its Kansanshi copper mine in Zambia. The company said it has launched an internal investigation into the accident in which one of its employees died following an incident involving a tracked dozer and a light vehicle. The site of the accident was immediately secured and operations in the area of the accident have been temporarily suspended and will resume once it is determined that it can be done so in a safe manner, the Toronto-based miner said in a statement. The Kansanshi mine, which produced 134,825 tons of copper and 68,970 ounces of gold last year, has faced safety challenges in the past. Those have been our economic news stories on Africa Good Morning. Let's head over to the economic indicators before Ari Hohad brings us the international sport.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with rugby news first. It's a United Rugby Championship that started the first weekend. South African teams didn't play in the first round because of the Currie Cup final in Johannesburg, and some of the results in the first round is defending champion losing in the first round. It was a away game for Glasgow Warriors. They lost to Ulster and the score there was a close game, 20 points to 19. Also Munster, a good start for them. It was an all-Irish game. It was Munster that beat Connacht by 35 points to 33. And it was also Benetton and Scarlets that played. And it was a 20-all draw. This coming weekend, South African teams in action. It is the Lions that will play at home against Ulster. Then it's the Bulls that will also play at home in Pretoria against Edinburgh. And 2 away games for the Sharks and the Stormers. The Sharks play against Connacht and the Stormers need to travel to Ospreys. Continuing international sports news with cricket news, 2 test matches that was concluded, and it was India that beat Bangladesh quite comfortably by 280 runs. The big performer there was Ashwin for India. He scored 113 runs, and then in the second innings of Bangladesh also took 6 wickets for 88 runs. It was Bangladesh needing to score 515, bowled out for 234. Also, it was Sri Lanka with a good win against New Zealand, and they beat them by 63 runs. And it was a brave innings in the second innings for New Zealand by Rashwan Ravinda of New Zealand. He scored 92 runs, but it was Sri Lanka that won that game. On to Formula 1 racing news, and it is after the Singapore Grand Prix, it is McLaren that's increased their lead in the Constructors' Championship. McLaren with 516 points now, and they're 41 points ahead of Red Bull on 475. And it is in third position Ferrari on 441, and Mercedes-Benz making up the top 4 with 329. In the drivers' division, it is Max Verstappen leading on 331. He's got 7 wins from the season. And then Lando Norris creeping closer, 279. He's got 3 wins so far. Lando Norris, of course, in a McLaren. And to close off international sports news, it is MotoGP news. It was the Emilio Romagna Grand Prix in Italy. It was Ennio Bastianini that won that race, and Jorge Martin was second. Jorge Martin with his second place. He's now the top leading point scorer. He's on his Ducati. He's got 341 points. All of the top four on Ducati. It is Francesco Bagnaia on 317 second, and Ennio Bastianini on 282. Southern African interest, Brad Binder on 165 in 5th position on the points table. That's international sports news for today. Hope it's a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning throughout the broadcast. Let's have a look at the highlights. 25 undocumented foreign nationals nabbed for illegal mining. Tanzania arrests opposition leaders to thwart protests. Egyptian ship delivers weapons to Somalia. UN General Assembly approves blueprint to address global threats. And African negotiators must demand climate justice at COP29. Those have been our stories. DSTV 285, GoTV25, oneup2.com, and Network Media Hub is precisely where you can find us. From me, Ashwin Bedi, and the Africa Good Morning team, Swera Jakanaka.